Good evening, everyone. You're welcome back to class. And today is the first class of Module 2, which is Linux Server Administration, or you want to call it Linux Server Administrator. Can we all hear me, please? Can I get the feedback so we can all hear me?
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Femi. We can hear you.
Good evening, sir. I guess you're on the road.
I can hear you.
I never reach out, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. All right, so if I'm loud and clear enough, we can move ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Femi.
Good evening, sir. Mr.
Please, I want to reconfirm. Is Mr. Progress part of this class or an observer? I don't really.
He's part of the class. Why do you ask?
He's been very active on the WhatsApp and the Telegram group. Very versatile. So
he's a marketer.
Okay. He's always on ground.
Okay. So
well done, Mr. Progress. Well done.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Mr. Progress. You're welcome. So, Linux Server Administration is where we are, and that's where we are starting from today. So, Linux is like other OS that is an OS as well. OS is an operating system, just to refresh our memory. And Linux is such that it is an open source operating system. Okay. By open source, I mean that anybody can pick it and work on it and suit it to their own purpose. Are we in class now? Are you following me? So, unlike you have Windows, only Microsoft have full access to Windows. You are not allowed to manipulate Windows however you want. And that means that if you don't like what they've done, in fact, you just have to like it. If you don't like, there's nothing you can do to it. But for Linux, if you're a very good programmer, you can take it up and work on it. In fact, they even allow people yearly to look for bugs within the OS and report it. And when you do that, they do a check. If your report is valid enough, they actually inculcate it. But that's not what we want to do here. Our own is to learn how to use this OS, because it is very, very key. And then you can use it across boards. You can use it in Windows environment. You can use it in Oracle environment, like that. Okay, I need to share my screen now. Does anybody have any question? Has anybody read about Linux and you want to?
Sorry, I have a question.
Please, sir.
Just for clarity purpose, Mr. Femi, I want to know: are you a programmer or an administrator? You didn't do much.
Mr. Femi is a chemical engineer. He's a process engineer that deals into IT and is into process engineering.
Let's hear from him.
You said that I didn't delve into what? Okay, so I am both. But in this class, we will not be. We won't be teaching programming in this class.
Cut soup for me now.
You said
Cut soup for me.
there's no
Go
soup.
so give him Momo.
There's no soup anywhere. This thing is just interest. So for me, IT comes as passion. I just enjoy creating things and doing things with my hands, and that's how I found myself in engineering. So I don't like to do all this plenty reading, art, law. I like science. I like when things are physical. And I like when I'm able to see things and I'm able to work on it. So if I may ask, what triggered your question?
I think I before the end of our first schedule,
Yeah.
it was like you have this anxiety about Linux server. You know, that was my feelings anyway. That was my feeling. So I'm. It's like I'm getting more prepared for this class than the previous one. That is just it. That's it. Just it.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
By anxiety, like you mean I'm fearing? Is that it?
No, as you were the way you
looking forward to
presented this
You were
lineup.
anxious. You were waiting for us to get into Linux. You
Oh
couldn't
yes,
wait for us to just start Linux.
you are right. You are right.
Oh,
Because
really?
you were kind of preparing our mind towards Linux.
Yes, now because we enjoy Linux.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I mean, in Windows, what you are working with in Windows is the front end, the graphics user interface, right?
Yes.
But Linux gives you access to the back end where you invoke commands.
You can create on your own. You can do
Exactly.
whatever you want to do.
When you invoke commands, you go and check it has happened, and if it is not happening, you will get it there and there. In
You will know
Linux,
that it's not happening.
exactly. In Linux, you don't need administrator and user. Everything is on one machine.
And another thing about Linux, you have to be careful. It's not like GUI that will ask you that, do you want to commit this? Once you run the command and you press enter, it don't go.
Yeah, that's it. But even at that, you can also call back the command at whatever you've entered.
And that's when it's not in a production environment that a lot of havoc could have been done.
Oh, well, that's why we are doing this class now, so that we'll prevent havoc from happening. All right. And in production settings, either you are a web app developer or you are.
You are supposed to have a UAT environment to run anything first.
Okay,
before
so
you even take it to production.
that is what I want to say. You have your workstation. Okay, you have your workstation, you have your application station. You test all these things on your workstation and your application station before you now deploy to your production environment. All right, so many of these things have been factored into Linux, unlike in Windows that you go to a client to go and check has it happened. You come back to server side, check what you have done. Like that day, like our last class when we were trying to create a mapped drive. All right. So if it is Linux, you get the error there and there. All right. Windows might not be able. You might have to go and check an inventory, the event record, before you can be able to trace your error on Windows. But in Linux, if it won't go, you see from your command line, and it will give you ideas of where and where to check. All right. So I don't know about your own enthusiasm, but for me, I prefer let me work on the command line. Let me just invoke command. And as we started the discussion during our last class, you don't even have to have all the commands in your head like that. The more you use it, right? The more you are conversant with it. At some point, if it's at the very tip of your finger. You just know what you want to check. You know what you want to do. And those commands that you don't readily have in your head, you can just go to Google and look for them. But I can assure you, by the end of this class, many of the commands that we use normally, you would have had it very readily. It becomes part of you, just like when you started driving. All right, you focus on the route. You're not able to use your phone, you cannot choose something. But after like 8 weeks of driving, you can even be discussing with your earpiece and be driving. You already know. You don't have to reason where is the accelerator, where is the brake. Okay, at that point it becomes very innate. It becomes innate with you, and that's it with Linux as well. The more you use it, the more it becomes innate with you. And like I also said, the important thing is you understand what you are doing. So in Linux, we'll do more of what do we want to do when we, especially when we get error messages. Do we want to cut, or do we want to VI? Okay, VI means edit what is inside a file, but cut means don't edit. I just want to see what is inside. All right. So, and other small tasks like that. So before you even start, you be like, okay, this is what I want to do. These are the commands I will need. Unlike Windows, you can just be you move your cursor around the user interface, and any vocabulary that looks like what you're looking for, you click it. If it is not there, you back. But in Linux, you are intentional. All right. But before we even get to that, we need to download and then install and configure our Linux server. I sent the link. I want to assume everybody got that. Is there anybody that didn't get the link? Are we in class?
I got the link. I didn't do anything about it.
Oh,
Yes, please send the link again.
I got the link and I've downloaded it.
thank you, sir. Okay.
My system crashed along the line. I'm even still looking for it.
Please, can I have the link somehow? Maybe
If you're on the WhatsApp page, the link is there. I'm sure everybody here is on the WhatsApp page, so you have the link very handy. But not to worry, I can as well resend it for us. Okay. So we all can see my virtual box, right? Can everybody see my virtual box?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you come to Google. And then you say you want to download. Like I said, Linux has very different distributions. Okay. The lingua among IT people, they call it distros. Some people you say you hear variants, but majorly you hear distros. Which distribution of Linux are you using? You have Red Hat, you have Ubuntu. I think Ubuntu is owned by a South African person. Okay, the OS we want to use to learn has been acquired by Red Hat. All right, and then they will merge. I think by 2023 or so, they said they will merge it with Red Hat. Okay, so for some of you, you might want to consider certification in Red Hat. Okay.
Red Hat.
Yes.
I actually did the training 2004. So
Wow, that's long ago.
I didn't do the certification.
Okay.
I know this all the textbooks and everything they gave me that time. I don't even know where I kept them.
So like we were discussing last class, certification is not a big deal. It's just for or climes where they honor papers over knowledge. All right, but where I'm hoping many of us will be working, and where some of us are already working now, is about can you do it? So they test you. If you're able to do it, who cares if you have certification or not? All right, can you do it? Is and that's why I like IT. Right, it is can you do it? Many persons don't even have AWS certification, and they are cashing out on Upwork, on Fiverr, on these other two other platforms that I know of properly. And they're even teaching people that want to get certified, and they're getting certified, but they themselves they don't even care because what do you need it for? They are not willing to work for anybody. They just want to be on their own, doing their things. Except if they want to consider bigger platforms. All right. So you come to Google, as you can see, and you say download CentOS ISO. All right, and it takes you to CentOS website www.centos.org, and this is the one you're working with. All right, x86_64. Okay, and you can pick anyone on this list. Anyone on this list. So for me, I'd like to pick this CentOS Mirror PTSI. Are we all following? Okay. Oh, hold on. There's a place where, okay, let's just go through download CentOS. Let's go through the site already so that I can show you other versions of CentOS that we have. Remember I said that there are different distros of Linux. CentOS is one of them, Ubuntu is one of them, Red Hat is one of them. Okay, what's happening? So I'm waiting on my Google to respond now. Okay, if that one will not give us while we are waiting for that.
Sorry, Mr. Femi.
Yes.
Please, I'm struggling to hear you. I don't know if you are far away from your speaker.
Your voice is a little bit faint since you launched your virtual, open your web browser.
Oh, really? I'm sorry. How about now?
Better.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know where that is. Okay, so are we having internet issue? I don't think so.
Why not click on the link you sent to us? You can open your WhatsApp on your system.
I don't want to put up plenty applications so we don't experience hanging difficulty. I just want to show us how
Mr.
to.
Femi want to show us the traditional way on how to get it instead of just following the link.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. So that for you as well. Okay. I think it's the site that is not giving us responses. Also, while we're waiting for that, let's come here. Okay, so by now all of you can walk me through creating a Linux server here. Who wants to help us now? Okay, Miss Adiola, do you want to help us to create a new server, a new machine? Are you there? Can you hear me?
No.
Why did you say no? Are you scared?
Sorry, Mr. Femi.
Yes, sir.
Please, are we using the existing virtual machine?
You mean the virtual box?
We are
Virtual
using the
box.
virtual box
Yes.
to install to have a Linux.
We are using virtual
Yes, it's
box.
still the same one that I just.
What I'm asking, are we using the same one we were using before on Windows?
No, we are done with Windows. See all this I10,
So you
server
have to
1, server
delete it
2.
in case you,
I just left
in
it.
case your space is not enough.
So if but Linux does not really consume space like that. But if your resources are not enough, you can delete your Windows server. But I feel you guys, especially the non-IT among you all, still need to leave
Yes.
for you to
Yes. Personally, I need it. So
yeah. So Miss Adiola, don't go cold on us now. I know you can help us. Is it just because of the word? Just the way you create normal I10 server, that same way. We're not configuring it. So just show us. If you want to create a machine here now, what do you do?
Okay. Okay, I'll just try. New.
Okay.
I think we go to new and then we give it a name.
Okay. Let's say I10 Linux server. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I've given you the expert. The moment I put Linux here,
Yeah, the Linux has come
every other
out.
thing came out.
Yes. And
All
I
right.
think we'll be using 6040. So next.
So your type is Linux, and the one we're picking is 64-bit. You're right. Yeah. So next. Okay. The number of
Next.
your sorry, the number of
Depending on your size or what.
exactly. You're right. So all these ones you already know. So you see now that it's not a big deal as such. Create all these ones you already know. Yeah. Dynamically allocate.
Create.
Yeah. So we are
Okay.
here.
Virtual box disk machine. Oh, sorry.
Here now we pick dynamically allocated, right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Because of the space, and so you can always alter it.
Right.
Okay. So the same thing too for this place.
Okay. So
Depending on.
you see that Linux just need 8 gig of your hard drive, of your HDD or your SSD. 8 gig. You say create and Viola. We've done that.
Okay. Sorry, please. I didn't get that SSD, please. My network was bad, please.
It's just the name for hard
Because
drive.
I'm doing it here too. Okay.
It's just for your for your storage. Okay, the ones
Yeah.
everybody know is HDD, hard disk drive. But now you now have an efficient storage, which is SSD, solid state drive.
SSD.
Yeah.
Okay. So we delete that VDI
we didn't
and
delete.
put
We check.
SSD.
No, we didn't. We didn't put SSD anywhere. I'm just saying that Linux was asking us what is the size of storage that we want. So and I
Yeah.
said it will pick just 8 gig from your hard drive. I don't know the hard drive you have on your own PC, but my laptop hard drive is
madam,
HDD.
what HDD and SDD means is that one comes in
Sorry,
when
I
you are
want to
buying
find
your
out,
system. When you are buying your
Mr.
system.
Hold on, let that person finish.
When you are buying your system, the specification of your system, hard drive, the kind of hard drive you want to buy, is it solid state or just
The kind of storage you mean?
yes,
Is it solid state
solid state,
or
because
hard drive?
solid state is very has speed.
Yep.
I mean, is it speed ahead?
Yes, it
So
has speed and it is more versatile than HP.
that's ahead.
And it's even one of the reasons why some laptops are costlier. So you'll be like, this one is 500 gig, that one is 500 gig. The same Intel Core i5 processor. Be like, well, they tell you this one is solid state. So it's just a piece of information. It's just something that affected. It didn't affect the creation of our Linux server. It didn't.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Haron, you want to ask something?
Okay, no, I wanted to ask that they had this file type that we are choosing. Why configuring? Is it the VDI, VHD, VMDK?
It is VDI. It's just the same one that you
Use for the other one.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So that Mr. Femi, that wasn't me. That person had just have like exactly like my voice.
Okay.
You said? I didn't hear you, sir.
Mr. Aaron was trying to confirm that that wasn't his voice.
Oh, okay. Wow, it looks it sounds alike.
Yeah, the person actually sounded like me.
And you thought it. Okay, so that's a good one for you.
Me, I want to ask you.
Okay,
so,
sir.
Whether it is Linux or Windows, the server creation, the server creation style is still nothing is different. Just the OS, right?
Yes, just the OS we pick. Yes, just the OS that we pick. So for, I don't know if time will permit us, right? I will show us Hyper-V. I'll show us one or two things on Hyper-V, but let's not crowd the class.
Please, sure.
Let's continue this. All right, if time will permit us. All right. So, thank you, Ms. Adeola. We've created our Linux server, and now we can run Linux on our host. Is a VirtualBox not doing something good? This HV2 hypervisor type 2. Normally, you will not be able to run Linux on this OS. Okay, but with this Oracle VirtualBox, you're able to run Linux, you're able to run Windows, and any other one that it allows. So to now be able to configure this Linux server, who wants to help us next? We've had the only lady in our midst help us do this. Who's going to help us next? Okay.
Start. Let me continue now.
All right, please.
Yeah, click on start. Since you validated, I assume you already have the downloaded.
Yes, I do.
Right.
When this one is responsive, I'll come here and this one is not responding yet, but
what version what do you call it? That we will go towards that place. Let me Linux, iOS, what?
Which page?
CentOS.
No, okay. But I'll still come and show you. Well, let's just continue. So why this one is running within the background, we'll come back here. Let's just maximize our time. So start. Thank you.
Okay, start. Click on start.
Okay.
Let's wait while it loads.
Okay.
Then choose the file, where the file location from that small file folder.
Yeah.
Locate where your file is.
If
it's download, yeah.
Okay.
Click
so
on it.
Hold on. I have it there because I have installed Linux severally on this VirtualBox. But
okay, if I thought you have not done that,
time, you
click add.
Add. Exactly.
Don't worry, I'll take you through.
Thank you, sir.
Click on add, locate where you have it.
Okay, this is where
on your system. Click on yes, open.
Thank you.
Then click on it here to highlight it.
Yeah.
Then you choose.
Thank you.
Then start.
Thank you, sir. So this is it, good people. Our Linux OS is about to install. So can we come back here and see why we're not able to do this?
Please, what is the size of the files?
4 point something, around 4.5, 4.6. gig.
Not the chat game.
So basically, I think this is just the last one you're gonna be downloading in the whole of this. That is major in the whole of this, from module 1 to module 4.
Oh,
Yeah, when we get to DevOps, it is inside the Linux OS that you'll be downloading on, and that one is faster. So as you have this OS, assuming it is finally set up here, and you need to, maybe you want to work on your Tomcat, or you want to work on your Jenkins, or you want to work on your uh, different SDKs like that. SDK, I mean software development kit, or development, normal web development kit. It will install right inside your OS, which is Linux, and that's always not an issue at all. I mean, maybe 20 MB, 5 MB, as long as you are giving Linux the right command. All right, and for Linux, remember in Windows we needed to go and open the NAT port. Although the Windows that these servers, their NAT came as default opened, right? Okay, but before now it wasn't used. It's not used to be default. So, but Linux, as long as the host, I mean your computer, has internet connection, you don't need to go and open any port. That's why Linux is better. Okay, you don't have to begin to go and configure many things like that before you are able to allow the machines see each other. Okay.
But sorry, hello.
Please go ahead.
The Ubuntu
Distro.
Yes. Where is it used? Is it same thing? Can we use it on Linux too, or what?
It's a Linux. It's a Linux OS. It's just so in Linux, right? We're going to be using sudo, right? When we get there, you will see it. But instead of sudo in Linux, you'll be using apt-get. So it's just a slight difference in command. All right. So let me think of a physical instance that you can relate to it. Okay. So okay. You have your Play Store and you have your Apple Store, isn't it? Inside the store, you want to download what's it called? Adobe, or whatever you call it, Adobe software. The same thing you find in Google Play Store is what you find in App Store. Sure you get. As long as you find yourself in the store. So by the time you begin to use CentOS, and maybe you find yourself in an organization that uses Ubuntu, in one day you've acclimatized. So where you're supposed to use sudo as a prefix, you use apt-get as a prefix in your command for other things. Okay, so from you have something called what's the word now? It has escaped my mind. I'm trying to remember. Just like a database or a library. So how you access that library, it is the same library for Linux. Linux has built this thing. Okay, so how you access that library in Ubuntu, the command you use, there's a prefix you use before your command. It's even why you access the library in CentOS. All right, but CentOS and Ubuntu and Red Hat, they are all Linux OS. All right. So repository, that's what I'm trying to remember. They call it repository. So it's just like a library.
Okay. Mr. Femi.
Yes, sir.
Based on the explanation now, what I understand now is you have CentOS, you have Ubuntu, and you have Red Hat.
Yes.
If you are using either of the distros,
Yes.
there is a prefix that must come first in any distro you are using, and that the particular prefix is actually for that distro alone before you can write your command.
Yes, but
right?
not in all situations. There are some commands that doesn't require you to use
Using
that
prefix.
prefix. Yes, especially when
Hello, Mr. Femi.
yes, sir.
I observed right now that it's as if you are not taking us from the basic, because some of the language you are using, so personally, I would like some explanation on them before we start using them, because as a non-IT person, by the time you start saying Ubuntu, all those blah 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 blah,
Yes.
I wouldn't know what you are referring to. And
Okay, so I'm just discussing so that we can kill time. What we are doing today is installation. So when we begin to use it properly, yeah, I will be explaining it.
Okay, Mr. Femi, before you continue, I am there now. I'm in CentOS Linux Center. I'm on download.
No, leave that one. Leave that one. Let's just follow the class. Let the class be on the same page. Okay. So if this my own is going, I will use this to show it to us. I just want to show us the different distros of. When I say distro, I'm referring to distribution. Right? You have Ubuntu, you have Fedora, you have Kubuntu, you have, I mean, many. Look at it. These are the one. They are all Linux, but different people just because I said it's an open source OS. By open source, I mean that anybody can pick it, work on it to suit himself or herself. Unlike Windows, right? Only Microsoft have access to tweak Windows. Okay, but the common ones you find around are these two, Ubuntu and Fedora. Right? Fedora is also Red Hat. Right? Fedora is also Red Hat, and this is also and like I said, Fedora, Red Hat have acquired CentOS. That's why I wanted us to see this. So the person that wants to have the basics, of course, I know that we are in a hybrid class, but don't worry, you will have the basic in Linux. All right. So this is where we are now. You click English, right? You say continue. Someone's background is giving us different things. Can we address that? Okay, so are we together now? Can you all see my screen? Hello?
Yes, we can see.
All right, so here now we begin to look at these things, these tabs, one after the other. All right, so our keyboard, let's check. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to click on our keyboard so we can see the different layouts we have. Okay, so some of them are grayed out. They're just active for clicking now. Date and time. Okay, let me come back here so you can see. Date and time. I think I'm in Africa, right? In Africa, I think I should be in Lagos. Are we going to see Port Harcourt? I'm not sure. No. So all of us in Africa, we're going to use, in Nigeria, we're going to use Lagos. And it has what? It has taken us there. Done. Africa Lagos time zone. The keyboard we have, I want the US keyboard type. The language support, we already picked this one, US, right? So what else do we have to check here? Installation, source, local media, yes. Installation, selection, these ones are okay. Majorly the ones that have caution sign is where you also need to check. So this installation destination, can we click on it? It's saying outer box. You click it, there's nothing we are doing here. This is the one we're going to use. Remember when we were setting our hard disk space the other time, we picked 8 gig, and that's what you have here, 8192 MB, and that's 8 gig. So there's nothing that I've done here that is special. I clicked on my date and time. I set the time zone, Africa, Lagos. I also clicked on my language support. I said that as well. Let's just click everything one by one and look around. We've done installation. Okay, let's check here, see. So, okay. Server. Oh, okay, interesting. Please remember to come here as well. And let's pick server with GUI so you can see. Are we in class? Is everybody listening to me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so the software selection, we are using server with GUI because this is a class of hybrid people. So yes, let us use server with GUI. It means that we will have both command line interface and we also have graphics user interface. We'll be able to see the two. Are you following me? So server with GUI is what we are using. Things that you may want to check here. There's no need. There's nothing here. Done. That's our software selection. Here, that's what we just said it there. So you give it time. You say it is checking software for it to do what it needs to do. We have selected installation here and we picked our 8 gig. We didn't do anything, we just click on that particular 8 gig and click. So we just wait for this check-in to be over and then we move ahead and begin installation.
So, Mr. Fem.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Femi, sorry, can you go back to the installation destination?
Yeah. I'm here. Installation destination. What do you want to ask, sir?
Okay, you check the, what's it called?
I just clicked on this.
Okay.
It means that is where the OS will be installed, your hard drive.
Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Fem, I want to ask.
Okay, sir.
Like the first question that person asked, by saying like you are supposed to take us from
the basics.
Superman. For me, I think he is trying to figure out like what are the situations that can arise to make you think I'm supposed to use Windows or Linux. What are the environment? What are the reasons? What are the applications or whatsoever that will make you say, okay, this thing is Linux or
that person should mute, please.
No, it is the person talking. That's the background noise is coming from him.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry about it.
Okay, so I wouldn't want you to project your questions on another person. The person that asked the question want us to take it from the basics, and that is what we are going to do. No doubt about that. Okay, the basic of anything in IT is installation, and that's where we are here. All right. Now, your question is different. At what point do I use Windows? At what point do I use Linux? I think for me, that question is based on your organization. So if your organization is using Linux server, you don't get to decide which one to choose. You work with the server they have. If your organization is using Windows server, you don't get to decide. You work with the server they have. Have I answered your question? It is
Why I'm
it is
asking that
for
question?
you. Okay, go ahead with
Why
your
I'm asking that question is that in my place we use both, and most of the time, although most of the time,
I can't hear you very well, though.
in my place they use both, and most of the time it is the application team that will tell you do this or do that. But so me, I'm thinking, oh, let's assume now if you want to install application on my own, what are the things that I need to look after to say, okay, this work with Windows, this work with Linux?
Okay, so for organizations, right, it depends on, like I said, it is not the trainer that will tell you this is what you will use or not. It is when you have experienced both and continuous usage that will not settle down. Okay, let us maintain using Linux. All right, let us maintain using Windows. But like you have rightly observed, big corporations they use both. Right, big corporations use both. Okay, you can use. Okay, so we have always been using what's it called, UBA.
Sorry to cut you, Mr. Femi.
Okay.
Can you mute everybody?
Okay. So everything here is set. Let's just click begin installation. So while that one is doing, we can continue with our discussion. Oh, okay. So this one will happen. Let me quickly explain so that we can continue with this. Now, UBA in Ikeja might be using Windows Server to manage all the computers, all the clients in UBA Ikeja. Are you following me? But the whole UBA as a domain or as a forest, they might be using Linux because it is easier for them from Linux with Linux to send commands to all other servers on the system. So you can have an hybrid setup. Are you with me? But as where we are going to, as an architect, it is what your company or what you want to achieve that determines what you are using. Okay, so because I'm enthusiastic about Linux does not mean Linux is better than Windows.
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay. My question goes like this. What are the advantages and disadvantages between Linux and Windows?
Okay, that's for you to go and find out now. You want to take us into literature now?
Because literature will guide us to the practical.
So like I said, Linux is good when you're working with plenty, like you're working with corporations. From the example I gave you now, you have UBA. So I have to mute everybody. When you want to talk, please unmute yourself because of that background noise. You have UBA in Ikeja. UBA in Ikeja, that small enterprise there, they might be running on Windows server just to manage the clients within that level. All right. But the whole of UBA Nigeria, their server is likely going to be running on Linux. Okay, so Linux has this advantage of mega over Windows. If it is, I mean, mega. I prefer to use Linux if I'm dealing with hundreds of thousands of clients, right?
Sorry, excuse me, I have a little question. My network went, I had a little challenge with my system. I needed to restart.
Okay.
So on this particular page in which you are presently, and under software selection,
Okay.
I see we have minimal install. I don't know what you actually choose before going ahead to the next. I don't know, maybe you've passed that stage.
Okay, so we have addressed this issue before, that when we are in class, let's focus on the class. If everybody wants to be doing it where we are doing it, we won't move ahead. So everybody will just come and say, okay, this is where I am, this is where I am, this is where I am. Okay, so let's focus on...
My network went off. That's the reason why I asked.
Okay, so what we used was server with graphics user interface, GUI. You see it on that line. You see server with graphics user.
I've seen it. That's why I said I needed to ask. Thank you.
Okay, so let's avoid this having to go back, because we will be slow if that's what we're going to do. Because everybody will want to do it, and that means we won't be able to move ahead. So the important thing is, I understand your situation because network timed out. Okay. All right. So from those plenty selections we've done, now we are here. Root password. Root password is what is equivalent to administrator in Windows. Are we in class now? So while Windows will ask you administrator, Linux will ask you root. So you look at it now, we are setting our root password right from here. So I click on root password. It's asking me to set password. So we've always used what? I10 I'm using I10 2021 exclamation mark. The first alphabet is uppercase. All right, and then I say done. Okay, so we won't be creating a user now because I have to show us how we create user. The only thing we'll be doing here is root password. Remember, I said root means administrator. Root means administrator in Windows. As administrator is to root in Windows, so is root to Linux. You see this process here, installing and that's what we are doing right now. So we just wait for the installation. After this, you might ask us for license information. These ones are no issue. We're going to accept it. All right. So to the person that was asking, let's just do a simple Google check. Advantages of Linux server over Windows. Mr. Haron, free and open source already told us this is it.
I can see
Stability and reliability, security, it is flexible, hardware support, blah, blah, blah. All right. So 11 reasons why Linux is better than Windows. So the person that wants to know when do I choose Linux, when do I choose Windows? Like I said, the nature of what you do would determine what you want to choose. Okay, and then So there's something that is always important, the dollar sign. So when I say the dollar sign, what I'm saying is in every of your decision as an IT person in a company, as an IT person in a company, every of your decision you must also consider the cost implication, right? You must consider the cost implication. So assuming you live in for those living in Lagos State and those living in, let me look at one other state like that, and those living in Osun State, and you have option of using an SUV or a saloon car. Are we all following? We are discussing now because our OS is still running. You have the option of using an SUV or a saloon car. The person in Osun State, what will you advise that person to use? An SUV or a saloon car? And the person in Lagos State, what will you advise the person to buy? SUV or a saloon car? And give me the reasons why you are choosing whichever one you choose.
Person in Lagos,
You said?
person in Lagos,
Yes.
I will advise get an SUV.
So why?
Okay. We all know the nature of Lagos State during rainy season. Flood, like just a few days ago, my car was submerged in Wera because it's a
Okay.
why person in Osun State, you have is less density area. You don't really have population there. What's it called? Erosion is not that much in that axis, and people from where they go to their work is not far apart from where they when considered to Lagos. That is my own opinion.
All right. Another person wants to give a shot. Why will you choose SUV and or a
For
saloon?
me, people living in Osun, they have more of bad roads than people living in Lagos.
Okay.
So aside the fact that okay, flooding, even if you have an SUV in Lagos, that does not even guarantee the fact that you can go swimming in those water. So for
So
me,
for your decision is because of roads.
yes,
Okay.
they have more bad roads, like roads where even if you have a car, the likelihood of you carrying your bumper on your head back from wherever you are going to is high. Unlike in Lagos State, practically every road in Lagos State is tarred. It's not the
Okay.
same way of someone living.
So this one that you said
Road in Osun State are still better, and the places that you'll be going in Osun State, the distance are very close. Like you are walking in Osogbo and you are living in Ife.
When you say Osun State, you are only talking about Osogbo. For instance, now when you are in Ife, I can tell you the number of roads that are good in Ife, for instance. So, like 30% of the major road that you see are good. But when you now enter, when people have to access most of those roads, they are dead roads. So the same thing when you go to Osogbo.
Everything depends on the person that is buying it and the reason and the purpose why you are buying it, either the saloon or the SUV. That's just it.
But in
If there
Lagos,
is going to be support,
aside from flooding that you mentioned, there is nothing. And during flooding, you don't necessarily have to carry your SUV outside. So SUV or a saloon does not necessarily work with.
Okay, so thank you everybody. The reason why I brought it up is so that we can have an interactive session. I hope this one answers the person that wants to know why do I choose Linux, why do I choose Windows. It depends on, there are things you have to consider.
Environment.
There are things you have to consider. That very importantly, as an employer, so as an employee rather, you have to save your organization money. Okay, so even with bad roads, I can still manage a saloon car in Oshogbo. If I consider, oh sorry, I can manage an SUV. In fact, both can work in Oshogbo. I can either choose to be using SUV or saloon car in Oshogbo. One, economically, it is viable because I'm not burning too much fuel. There are no holdups in Oshogbo. Sorry, in Osun State. Not only Oshogbo is just the capital, there are other towns and small cities in Osun. I can use either saloon or SUV in Osun. The roads are not good, but at least because they are not so much flooded, I can be able to navigate. That is if I'm using saloon car. Saloon car, you can say, is cheaper than an SUV. Okay, so if I consider flooding, if I consider proximity, the distance between places I want to be going to, I can choose to use any, and I won't have any problem. All right, but if I'm in Lagos State, I have to consider where I live first. In fact, wherever you live in Lagos, I think you should just use an SUV. All right. So the person that says almost all the roads are tarred in Lagos State, well, I've not been in Lagos State this year. Okay, but does that mean your inner roads? Because I know many of you worked at the city center and you have your respective houses back inside. You'll be hearing of Akowonjo, you'll be hearing of Egbeda. Those inner roads too, are they also tarred? Okay.
Yes.
But oh, that's good if they are tarred now. Okay, so I just try to bring up the analogy so that you can decide on that question yourself if you should use Linux or you should use Windows. All right. However, the peak of this class is cloud, AWS, where you'll be creating applications where you might not even create applications, but you can choose to create applications, you can choose, but majorly your work as a cloud architect is to make the environment ready. All right. And that is where you even do more of thinking than more of clicking and doings. All right. Like, like the name implies, an architect. A bricklayer is not concerned if the heat wave is coming from the north or south of your location, isn't it? The iron bender is not concerned if the iron can be able to carry your multi-story building. His own is just give me iron. This is the shape we want to bend it to, isn't it? The house painter is not concerned if the paint here will wash in 3 years due to the weather condition. His own is this is the color you want, this is the type of paint you want. Bounce, I set up, I begin to paint. Right? The interior deco person, okay, the interior deco person is not really concerned with this. Okay, so I have curtain, I can make different style of it. Which one do you want? The bulk of the work is on the architect of that building. As an architect, you are the project manager from the beginning to the end. And that's why we are taking you guys to become solutions architect. And many in other classes, short classes, they've asked me, why does an architect get paid more than a software developer? I say, because software developer, as tough as it seems, the work of an architect is tougher. Software developer's work is narrow, right? But a solution architect designs the environment. If the environment is not right, everything you put on it will not be right. All right. So an architect comes to tell you you have to take sample of this soil and go and do a soil test before you begin to dig. Otherwise, you think you need 6 feet for this foundation, but you actually need like 12 feet if it's not a compacted ground. Are we in class now? You've turned me to a lecturer. I thought I just want to come and show you to click.
Yes,
We are hearing you.
yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So
Can hear you.
for you to decide
Any other way to deal with it?
for you to decide if you want to use Windows or Linux,
We are here.
it depends on what your organization is doing. How large is your organization? All right. How large are they? Which software? Okay, so there are some software that you put them on a Linux distro, they are messing up. But you put them on a Windows, they are doing perfectly well. You don't have to come back every week to do some reset or not. Okay. There are some places that, like I said, hybrid. So you have server under server, under server, sub, different sub like that. Okay. And there are some places where you might just have to use Windows, but the overall server controlling those sub-servers are Linux. All right. But in general sense, most organizations prefer Linux because of the command line, and we've seen it. It's reliable, it is versatile, it is. But in your organization that you are just using 20 systems, or let's even say 100, and you want to use Linux, you need to be paying for Linux distribution every year. Isn't that waste of money for your organization? They might not know, but the day they discover that you've been making them use plenty money, that day your ass might be on the line. They'll be like, if we are no more than this, and Windows Server can serve us, why are we spending so much on Linux? Are we getting it now? So it depends on where you are, and it depends on what you want to achieve. That is what determines what you get at the end of the day. Good
Okay,
people.
so Mr. Femi,
Yes, sir.
do you know that what you just said now,
Yes, sir.
is a very powerful message
Okay.
that the kind of Linux is a capacity OS. You
Yes,
have
it is
15,000, you have
a
10,000
whole lot
servers, you
of
have okay, let's do Linux, that can command everybody from
right.
one command line, everybody is in line. But in a situation where that place, because it's a interview question. If I have
Okay.
1,000 servers and I have 20 servers, what OS would you advise me to use for 1,020? You just be there. You just say, yeah, you can use any OS now. Meanwhile,
Okay.
you are fumbled.
Okay. So let me just quickly check your diction there. You want to say 1,000 clients or 1,000 machines? You say server. Okay. So
Machines,
all right.
servers.
Yes. You can't say server. What do you want to do with 1,000 servers? All right. You want to say clients or 1,000? Let's just say 1,000 clients. If for 1,000 clients, I will even use Windows. But when I'm beginning to see like hundreds of thousands
Yeah,
of
exactly
clients,
my narration.
yes,
Exactly.
then at that point I want to use Linux server. All right, but that is at the point where you need to optimize. But there are some places you get to, they are already using Linux server, and they are not more than 500, but they like it like that. All right, so maybe the person that comes before you, the person you're taking over from, maybe.
You were saying you sent earlier that there are some application that when run on Windows servers, it gets maybe drags on, or when you run on Linux, you tend to be having more response
Yeah,
when clients trying to query those applications.
yeah.
That may actually see determine why they are using the Linux over Windows,
Right.
even when they are power users.
So that's, I think I touched that as well. So it might just be that because of an application that is so you are working in a you're working in a okay, so let's take instance of Aaron that was telling a particular software that is key to their operations might be doing well on Linux. And even though Sterling uh, is, they are not that mega corporations, okay, they don't have any choice just to go ahead and still be running on Linux. They, I'm not sure the whole total clients in Sterling, I'm not sure they have to 10,000, right?
So for me, what I got from was that your analogy, the last analogy before this is telling,
Yeah.
is that somebody has installed everything and they are running on the Linux and they are in that case, now they bring you in, maybe that person has gone or maybe that person is still there, and they brought you in and you make them to realize that, look, if you put all of these things on Windows, you will still get the same result you are supposed to get, and then you'll be saving extra cost.
Yeah.
You know that the organization will be ready to listen to you.
So anything that has to do with cutting cost, organizations are ready to, employees are willing to ready to you. They will just say, oh, give that person the room, let him talk. But before you do that, you must have done your proper background check. You,
of course,
it
you
will
have
make
a
sense
test,
to
you do
call
your
the
test
person.
environment and all of that.
Yes, it will make sense to call the person you're taking over from. That why the choice of Linux in this place?
Linux
Is there a reason why he maintained using Linux? Right. So from his feedback, you'll be able to see, okay, well, if these are his reasons, well, Windows can do the same. I also assume that by the side you have run Windows Server, you have tried to simulate that environment and it has worked as well. Okay. So in that situation, you might just begin to do gradual migration. We talked about this before. You begin to migrate them. You don't just do it once and for all, man, because in the bid to save cost, if things go south, you might have your job on the line for it.
Like what I am currently doing now, when I came in, I met they were using ground stream
Okay.
phone. That's for
So please, before you continue, let me quickly chip in. This installation we are doing today, we're not coming back to it. I just hope everybody is focusing. We won't do that thing we did in Windows where 3 classes, we're still talking about installation. Linux doesn't have any problem installing, just as we had in Windows. That's why we are dedicating this class to Linux installation. The only challenge of what we've not been able to do so far is I've not been able to show you how to get to where we download it, but you already have the link. For installation, this is it. You know how we set our rules, we do all those things so that the moment we'll start Linux properly, we won't be seeing question of I'm not able to install this or that. Please go ahead now.
Mr. Aaron should check. You should check what is making noise from your background.
So if you are using hands-free, if you are using a earpiece rather, you want to plug it properly from that sound.
Mr. Femi.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, this CentOS download. For my own, I have a lot of links. So you've not told us which one to choose. I have close to.
You sent a particular one.
15 links.
I sent a link to us on WhatsApp page. Just click on that link, it takes you to download immediately. What I've not done here is I've not been able to show you how I got to that link. But on that page where you are, that you said you saw plenty things. I think I'm on that page. we were on that page as well before I did back, right?
Yes, you were on the page. Then I
Yeah,
think you went back. So
exactly. When I went back, that was when we began to experience this.
yes,
challenge.
yes, yes. So which of the link? Let me just answer the question. So which of the link to select?
I'm not able to see your screen, but I know there are plenty links on that page.
Okay.
Yeah. You said you are
Yes.
here, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
And so if you are here, you can just pick
Just any.
anyone, yes.
Okay.
Anyone. And then maybe I want to pick this. So this is 8. I actually want us to load 7. That's why I clicked back here. I wanted us to load CentOS 7. Let me see. Okay, let me just come to download community.
Download. You have like 4 from right hand side, 4
I
from
think
left hand side. One of them, beneath it, you have 20 to be expired to support 2021. The other one support to end 2024. That was where I
okay.
was. And my system don't crash. Is joy running diagonizing your PC?
The system crash while trying to install Linux or on its own. It has issue.
No, the system has been giving me signs since.
Okay, so because I know Linux is very light. Linux is light, like, and that's why most people choose Linux. You don't need so much. You wouldn't have to go through so much trouble like that. I really don't
Okay.
understand why we are having to even go to CentOS homepage.
Can you check another browser if you do have another browser?
Taking forever to install.
Maybe if you have Chrome, you don't have Chrome.
You
can check
mean
another
this is taking
browser.
forever to well? So this one, don't bother it to install. We have done 1093 out of 1354. Okay, and it is taking so much because maybe because I'm hosting a class, all right? But
even my own is still
Linux is light. By the time you are done with this installation, that's all you need. Okay, so remember they talked about reliability open source. It doesn't crash anyhow like Windows crashes. All right, it is on. You will not experience OOBE issue with Linux out of box experience. All right, all those challenges we faced when we were installing our Windows, you will not see it on Linux. I mean, for many other reasons, things like that, people choose Linux. But the thing is, you must be comfortable with command line. All right, and that's why you must be comfortable with. That's why most persons prefer. Will I say yes? People prefer Windows because they like to click. They can see it and click. I know.
That's why that's why most people don't want to move on.
Yes, exactly. They don't want to move on. They want to see something. But Linux is command line, and that's the reason why from that system base we choose server with GUI, graphics user interface, so that you can also see it as you are doing it as well. All right. So this is just all that we're gonna do today. There's really nothing to do here. Once we are done with this, we just reboot, and after rebooting, we're good to go. All right. Questions? I wonder why my Linux Why my CentOS?
So, Mr. Femi.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Femi. Okay, so I want to ask, can we use Linux as a domain controller also, or file system, or all of that?
Yeah, so all those things are embedded in Linux. You will not be seeing all those things of a domain and everything. Linux is swift. Linux is versatile. You wouldn't have to go and begin to configure those ones one by one. All right. As long as you are installing it as a server, is taking over all those things. Did you get? Yeah. So you will not see where we want to do domain controller, ADDS, HCP, whatever. No. Linux is you just use one command line, bounce. When I say command line, you just type one command, and you're good.
And all of those features just come
straight up.
Okay.
Yeah. Straight up. Okay, so
someone typed a chat that it doesn't agree with a view, that I disagree, that point that Windows is GUI and that is why people don't want to move on.
Okay, well, so the person should have moved and let's discuss now. Are we not in class together? So let's discuss. Who is the person?
Me. Hello, it's me, Mr. Israel.
Okay, Mr.
Because there's an aspect of Windows that is not GUI too. But people
prefer to use GUI.
Yes,
we have server core.
Yes, we have the server core. Yes, and now in Windows now
we have
even
PowerShell.
Allow the person to talk, please.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, I'm with you, sir. Yes, I said there's a part of Windows that is command line too, and it's PowerShell. Yes, and even now they are making everybody to go and learn the PowerShell because the PowerShell is also very powerful. And in fact, you can even run your Linux command line on the PowerShell; it will work.
Yes, it will.
So what I just want to say is that the both operating systems, as you said before, depends on the organization, depends on the software that the organization wants to
Mr. Femi, plug your system to power.
I think my power, my adapter is having issues. It's plugged. But let's go ahead.
Okay. Depends on the software that the organization wants to run.
Yes.
Then when it comes to, in Microsoft, if you are using a Microsoft product, you have to pay more. You pay more because it tends to offer more support than Linux OS.
Linux is open source, yeah.
Yeah, it's open source, so you have to depend on the community. If you need assistance now, you have to wait for somebody else in the community that have idea of what you are passing through before the person will assist you in whatsoever area you're having issue with. But on Windows on Windows Server, they have the technical support. When you have issue, you can contact Windows, and Windows can provide you with whatever support that you need from them. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that it depends on the individual. It depends on the organization. Some people would tend to use Linux because it saves them cost. They don't have to pay for any cost for support because they can get the support they want from the community. So some people would prefer to use Linux. But if you are using Windows Server, once you need support from Microsoft, you have to pay for it. So
okay, so the support part, because Linux is an open source, does not mean you will not even pay for Linux as well.
No, it still depends on the kind of support you are looking for.
Because Linux, like I said, you have Ubuntu from those different distros you have. All right. You are vulnerable if you are using a non-supported Linux distro.
Exactly.
How are you vulnerable, sir?
You have to pay Red Hat if you want to use Red Hat CentOS server that you're using for your organization, because it is an open source. And once they know the source code, you're on
Bros,
your
you
own.
have to pay. You won't pay again.
Come
Enterprise
again.
environment, you don't want to
Just
pay
like
for support.
Oracle, just like Oracle. Oracle uses Linux. So you have to pay Oracle because they are not using open source. Theirs is
I
also
want to hold on. If you try to install CentOS 8 point something now, it will ask us for license or something. Let's try it here.
No, even this one we ask us for license, we just bypass
will ask
it.
you for license.
But I get what Mr. Israel is saying. He's absolutely correct. All right. Windows have too much of bring. Okay.
Okay, wait, sir.
But
Why do you
for
think that Windows? Why do you think Microsoft have the largest market share when it comes to operating system environment?
It's been eroded because of the GUI, sir. That's what is
that. No. It's not because of that.
In America,
don't say
and most
that.
companies, sir, in America and most companies, they use Mac OS more than Windows. I won't lie to you.
No.
It's in Africa. It's in Africa that we approach Asians, that we approach Windows so much.
Hello, sir. I'm talking about the
part of it.
I'm talking about don't let us look at the I'm talking about the server end now. I'm talking about the server end now. Yes. I'm not talking about the personal computer that you are using Windows 10, that you are using Windows 7, Windows 8.
The support is a very large aspect of what you are saying, which is 100% correct.
The server end. The server end.
Yes, I'm talking about the server flavor, Windows server and Linux server. That is the two.
Okay, so between
I'm trying to compare.
Yes. Linux server is being used by
and Linux,
of the web
right?
service, so of the web servers are running
prefer,
on Linux.
People prefer Windows, right? Because of its easy use. I won't lie to you. Windows is easier.
Yes, you are correct.
To use.
Yes, you are correct.
All right, but mega organizations, they prefer Oracle as a server. Okay. And Oracle uses Linux. Do you understand? For that, that I have seen. I don't know how much you have gone as well. You don't know how much I have gone, but that I have seen. The reason why most people use Windows is because of its easy usage.
What? Is it because of the easy usage?
Yes.
Yeah, most of us in Nigeria that we use crack. Okay. Don't let us go to the issue where people use crack operating system.
So that is why I said vulnerability. When you use a cracked version of anything, you are vulnerable.
Yeah, the reason why you are vulnerable, you see, you know that because Microsoft is one of because they have the largest market share. So most of the time, hackers they tend to target their
because that's where their market is now. Who wants to hack something people are not using? I want to hack something that most people use, so that I can.
Why do you think most people use Windows?
I've told you now.
Because it's easy. You already said it.
It's because it's easy.
It's user friendly. It's user friendly. And if you have an issue, you can easily call somebody for support.
You can easily call somebody for support.
Once you pay for it, yes, now.
Because you pay for it.
You get okay. So you have the right to.
Okay, you know, Oga, you know what?
Yeah.
I want to let all of us go and do research over this thing. When we come back tomorrow and let us discuss it again.
Excellent. I like that. So I like the class that is quite interactive this way. All right. But for me that I've seen, I think most people, we're not talking about running Windows as a client. Most of us that use this computer, most of our computers are either running on Mac or OS. I mean, we're talking about server now. Servers that control, especially in Nigeria, most servers are Windows servers. All right, but I tell you, mega corporations like Glow, like MTN, they're looking for people that can use Linux. So no, I must be honest with you now.
I'm not disputing that.
If you cannot use
I'm
Linux,
not
forget it. Mega corporations, they prefer to use Linux.
Okay, okay. Let me give you this instance. Do you know that all these UN organize all these foreign organizations, when they come to Nigeria, you see most of the time when they go to the north, they always look for people that can speak Hausa.
Yes.
Abi? Yes. Like here in where I'm staying here now, most of the advert or most of the job vacancy that that MTN normally bring out, they look for people that can speak Hausa, that can speak Igbo. Reason being that you have a lot of people that can speak. Yes. You have a lot of people that cannot speak Hausa where I am here. You have a lot of people that can speak Yoruba. The same thing. So now when you say Glow is looking for people that can operate Linux operating system, it's because sitting in Nigeria, a lot of people are using Windows. So there will be market for those people that can use Linux. Do you get what I'm trying to say now?
Do you think Glow is using Windows Server?
There's nobody that is not using Windows Server.
I'm talking about at their over. Okay, so I like what you said now. There's nobody, but it is the level that they're using it. I hope you know. I gave an instance earlier that UBA in Ekeja,
yes,
we prefer to use Windows Server at that level. Sure, you get. But at the overall level, that's why I mentioned hybrid. You mix it together. At the overall level, they're likely running on Linux because their servers that came with these things are running on Linux. Oracle.
No, I agree. Yes, Oracle. Yes, it's on Linux.
Did you get? So, and that is why, and I also liked it when you said situational based matter. When you get to North, you wouldn't need for someone that can speak Yoruba in North. You need someone that can communicate in Hausa.
Yes.
Because you have plenty persons that already know about Windows here. All right. There are levels at which they will need you. They don't even need to go too far. They can quickly train anybody. Sure, you get. But do you agree that it is easier to use Windows than to use Linux?
I'm not agreeing to that. That's why I say everybody should do research. Then tomorrow we'll talk more on this.
Okay.
You get what I'm trying to say. Let's do the research.
That depends on each individual. That you said depends on each individual. People that have been working with Windows will find Windows easier. People that have been working with Linux will find Linux easier.
No.
But anybody just coming in.
I want people to Google it. I want people to do research on it. That's why we are IT person. You understand?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Now everything depends on what you are used to. If you've been working with Windows for like 5 years, and someone has been working with Linux for 5 years, the person working with Linux will find it easier to work with Linux. The person working with Windows will find it easier to work with Windows.
Okay, so
but somebody just coming into the field, now, after going through Windows or going through Linux, it will now know the one that this one is right. This one is exactly.
Hello, Mr. Femi.
Yes, sir.
I think the class is becoming much more interesting. Fine, most especially to the IT guru. I think right from the onset, you have taken us far, so to say, on the Windows.
Yes.
I want to plead that you see also take on. Let's proceed with Linux. So some of us who are beginners will be able to join the discussion. Yes, please.
And so we are waiting for our OS now.
Mr. Femi,
yes,
do you know that when you were taking us on Windows, you didn't say anything about server core. You didn't talk about the command line. You basically use the GUI version of
not talking
Windows.
about PowerShell.
So now, when you are not taking us Linux now, you are talking about.
I'm talking about what? Finish your thought.
Hello.
Yes, now.
Hello.
I said now that you'll be taking us on Linux. We'll be using much of the command line. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
I can hear you. You can go ahead, Israel.
Now, What I'm trying to cover, he didn't really talk, he didn't really say anything on the command line. So people get this misconception that yes, it is click and click and click and click. I think when you take us through the command line when you are taking us Windows Server, many people will run from Windows. They will not be able to use Windows.
No,
Do you get what I'm trying to
I
say
don't.
now? So
Plan,
that's the reason why I say I start to
anybody
disagree
from
with
the
the
class.
people saying that.
Okay,
No,
so
that's the reason
let's
why
leave it as
I start to disagree with people that said it's because it's GUI. That's why people don't want to move. No, try it. Go and do the Windows Server that has to do with the command line. The command line is PowerShell. You see that it's very tough. It's very stressful. Well, but no, it's good, Sha. I want
that is
us
tough.
to do more. Hello.
Did he say it's tough and stressful?
Yeah.
The command line of what? Of Windows.
Windows, PowerShell.
You said it is tough and stressful.
Yes. If
Do you know what I'm asking you to repeat? I hope you are getting it yourself.
If you said the command line for Windows are tough and stressful, the moment you type what you want to do on Microsoft's site, they will tell you the A to Z of the steps to follow. Will you see that for Linus?
Yes, do it on Linus. You see it too.
Okay,
it's
so what you said there, I just wanted to reconcile what you said to what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying that people tend to shy away from command line. Linux is basically command line.
Command line. Okay.
Isn't it?
Yes, that's what it is. Yes.
Now, Windows now gives you access to GUI and command line. Their power. Of course, you saw us when we were looking for our IP address. We brought up the CMD prompt and we use command. But those are just simple ones. People tend to work with what they see. Do you get? People do you know that there are people now that they are even bringing up apps, no code apps. Just type what you see. It's run the code behind. Do you get? So people just want to gravitate towards something that is easy. And that's why I said Windows is preferable. You just mentioned it now that PowerShell is tough and it's not easy. Why will someone go to where it's tough and it's whatever? But
okay, if you now
the essence of this class, the essence of this training is to show you both GUI and CLI, so that you can decide for yourself, or wherever you find yourself, you'll be able to function optimally. Okay, so we are discussing this for discussion's sake. It's not for you to now become. I don't think anybody in this class we harbor the fear of this is what I want to do or not. No, the essence of ITEN is to take you through Windows, to take you through Linux, to take you through AWS and cloud, and then to take you to DevOps. All right, so that you can be versatile enough when they say, by the time many of you begin to get jobs, all right, it might just be that you'll be working with Linux, and I can tell you in 2-3 years you might not even really like anything on Windows like that. By the time many of you begin to get jobs, it might be that you're just managing Windows Server, and at your point you're not using the PowerShell, you're just managing all other clients you have on your domain. In 2-3 years, you may not really the command you're going to be using at that level might not just be up to 10. All right. So the essence of this class is like, if you ask a programmer, they have something they call native language. Native language is the first language a programmer learns. Right. So you have Python, you have Java, okay. you have other languages. You are versatile in your native language than your subsequent languages. Do you have any software developer in the house? So if you give birth to a child and in that house you speak more of English, even though both parents are Yoruba or both parents are Igbo, the native language of that child is what he or she grew up speaking, and that's English. Okay, at the end of the day, you might be able also to speak Igbo or Yoruba, right? But you cannot take versatility of English from such child, right? So when you get into the industry proper and you work more with command line interface, there is nothing a GUI person wants to tell you that you make you think that command line is GUI is better than command line, because that's your native language. You've always been at the command line environment for more than 3-4 years. So what will the GUI person now come and tell you that you believe? Sure, you understand? And someone that has been at the graphics user interface for long, that becomes his native place. What do you now want to tell that person and say because graphics user is whatever? And why we agree that graphics user interface is better is because most people speak English, and that's what graphics user interface helps you to do. So you get, it brings you to your native language. You are able to even if you don't know, like someone like me, I growing up, I didn't go to learn computer anyway. I just sat in front of computer and I was just clicking around. I think I've shared with us before that my dad used to have a cyber car, right? As far back as 2001. I didn't go to any computer school. Self-taught. Not until I now needed to advance and I began to pay for courses around 2014, 2015. Pay for courses online, schools abroad, right? But like I said, I got used to that GUI because the language I speak, English, I'm seeing it. Do you get it? It will be people will find it quite difficult with command line for people that are just coming. All right, so Mr. Progress says you can be a sought after cloud engineer or software developer without knowledge and mastery. You can't be sought after, okay, without knowledge and mastery of C, cloud engineer or software developer. Okay, so the correction in your note here, in your chat here is cloud engineer. All right, you really, when you say software developer, of course you must be able to use command line. All right, but cloud engineer is different from a software developer. Okay, however, knowledge of basic software language will be needed. Like I said, look at the analogy I gave us. A cloud architect. As an architect, you are a designer and you are also a generalist. I hope you know what a generalist means. Okay, you should be able to know a little about paint, know a little about the ratio of mixing cement to sand, know a little about the depth, digging and soil test. I mean, you're a generalist like that. Okay, but will you be able to mix paint to do paint mixing properly? You don't need to, but you know what you want to achieve. So you tell the people there, this is what I want to achieve. That's who you are as a cloud engineer or a cloud solution architect, right? You're a project manager. You might not be able to write software, but you have the basic knowledge of it. Okay, you might not be able to spin up or make a database like SQL or MySQL versatile, but you must have the basic knowledge of it, and you must know which one is best to use in that situation. Okay, so why do you want to go and pay for a a database that is in a data center, when most of your data you have, or that if you ever generate in the next 100 years, can be on premise in your location, why do you have to waste such money? Do you get what I'm saying, class? So if all that we do in the past 15 years has not used more than let's say 1 terabyte in the past 15 years, everything we've been doing in my organization, why do I have to go and meet Amazon or any other cloud infrastructure provider when I may have to pay more? Why don't I just host a small server on premise? Okay, so everything we are saying is there are things that are native to people. For some people, GUI is native to them. For me, GUI is native to me because that's what I grew up in IT knowing. Okay, but when I now tasted CLI, I prefer CLI, not because I don't find it hard, but because I'm willing to overcome whatever challenges it is, and because when I have issues in CLI, I can able to trace from the error, whatever. All right, I can be able to. I find it. Note my word now. I find it easy to troubleshoot on CLI than to troubleshoot in command user interface. Okay, and the reason why we didn't do PowerShell in Windows is because when we get to AWS, we use like 2-3 classes to show you. So you can also run your Linux command on Windows PowerShell as well. And I remember some of you have asked me like, okay, so you need to create 800 new users. Do you go and begin to do it one by one? And I remember my response was, if it is in Windows, you just go to your PowerShell, invoke a command on PowerShell. It creates everything for you. Are we still in class or have been talking to myself? Everywhere is quiet.
Yeah, we're in class.
Oh, thank God though. I thought I've been talking to myself.
Uncle Femi, this is 9:30, and our installation is here to finish.
Okay, so we've done the bulk of what we need to do.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I understand everything you are saying, sir. I think there's nothing you want to do in Linux command line that you cannot do with Windows PowerShell. So if you say it that way, then what the question I need to ask you is, or no, it's not that. How will I put it? Between PowerShell and I think the command line for Linux is called Bash. Am I right,
yes,
sir? Okay, now between PowerShell and Bash, which one is more superior, or which one is more preferable than the other?
I think. Okay, so there is no superiority stuff here now. It's just these interfaces are ways of getting things done.
Okay.
All right. So there's.
As a matter of fact, I think even if you log on to Azure, you will see that the two of them are available. It is what is acceptable in an environment that they make
Yeah.
PowerShell is for Windows.
When you get to AWS, AWS gives you the opportunity. AWS is GUI, graphics user interface, but they also have their own command line as well. For those that prefers command line, I've been for how many days now? I've been doing research on how I can spin up an EC2 using command line. I mean, what I've been seeing, man, has been tweaking my head, and I'm enjoying it. So, AWS knows that there are people that GUI is native to them, and if GUI is what you want, we give you the environment. But if you prefer to use Linux command, okay, So what you can do by clicking and clicking, you can also do it. Just go to our Amazon CLI and use a command as well to spin it up. It's still the same thing. All right. So like I said, or like you also rightly, and some of us likely agreed. One, it depends on what your environment, your organization is using. Once you come in, you key into what they have. And that is why it's okay for you to be versatile as an IT person. So I like it when Mr. Igbinosa said that you need to have that command line knowledge. All right. But like I said, wherever you get to will determine where you key into. Do you get? You key into. So Mr. Haron, which one do you use more where you are currently? Do you use CLI or GUI? Is this same class? Mr. Haron. Mr. Yodeji, which one do you use?
On what, sir? Please, I just came back.
Do you use more of CLI or GUI?
No, I'm new in the server area. I use GUI and I use some few PowerShells for my work. So that's why I'm actually keen on knowing Linux, because in the systems world, once you are a Linux person, you find it easier to get more system administrator job than being a Windows system. So that's why I'm keen on this class as well as the AWS and the DevOps side.
Okay. So just hang in and let's write together. The moment we are done with our installation, next thing is we'll be doing plenty of this CLI. Okay, so that I know where the world is going to now is, can you make my life easier? Don't come and complicate it, isn't it? That's what IT is doing for you. I mean, the day I was on field, so like I said, I'm outside field now. I'm in town, so you guys will be hearing horn, plenty on, because my house is close to the road at the entrance of the estate. So I was on field when I saw no code programming. I like, are you kidding me? Did you say, okay, so we are done here. Are we together?
Yes,
Can you
sir.
see complete?
Together we are.
So after complete, the next thing you do is what?
Reboot.
Reboot Ubuntu.
Let's just take our time. Maybe in the next, if you guys will help me.
This guy is always showing fail. No, it's not failing, but this guy is always showing fail.
Repository. Run install repository. Don't bother. Repository is more or less like a library. You know, it's more like a library for your OS.
For Linux.
Issue. Okay, assuming.
So you choose core or the GUI.
No, you don't need to choose. Choose yourself. Don't bother. It should choose itself rather. Okay.
I like this interface.
You like interface, have you?
I like this interface.
I mean, I feel like I'm on top of the world when I'm putting commands. I mean, I've used this command to cheat people a lot, especially in office. You know, they just sometimes I just go to their PowerShell. I just do one or two things. And you know how command used to display when it is running on CLI? They have be looking at you like one superhuman. I mean, I don't know. Don't mind me. I like
that makes you look like a professional.
You get for someone.
That's the beauty of the knowledge. That's the beauty of the knowledge. If you run it and it doesn't work like this,
like I can't browse. I say, okay, bring a system. I just go and ping server. He just be looking at me like, What are you doing? By the time I do if config, I know I check their IP address and I ping server. Then I'll be looking at you like, what are you doing, this man? All right, so here we are. You click on license information, license not accepted. So you come and check, I accept. Are we in class?
Yes.
Yeah. Accept, you say done. And I think that's all that we need to do here. Create user, nothing. So
you will not put IP.
No, not here.
Okay.
Don't worry, we'll get there. You people say we should take it from the basics now. So let's be encouraged to take it from the basics. Okay, we have 6 weeks. Isn't it? How many weeks do we have, class?
6.
We have 6 weeks to help us do this, to run this. So, finish configuration. Okay, so please indulge me so we can take like 10 minutes more just to finish up with this installation. So we
But the installation, did it take that long time because of your machine, or that's how it is?
I think it might take that long in your own too.
It has to do with your machine because my own finished before your own.
And
you started yours before mine.
All of you that you are shaming my system in this class, God is watching you.
Mr. Aaron.
Is that that person is not Mr. Aaron? Yes,
It's not Aaron. Why?
I told you that person's voice, man. We need to go and do something. We need a forensic in this class. I mean, that their voice is just. It's just so. Please use that person. Let's map the two of them together. Okay, so let's look at it here. He's saying you're welcome. All right, we'll pick English is already selected. Our typing English is already selected as well. Okay, location, you can leave it on or whatever you want to do. Then we move to next. Now, what are our time zone? Who wants to help us?
+1.
Lagos, Nigeria.
Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay. Lagos, Nigeria.
Like you are supposed to click that search.
You need to click on search. Search, yes.
We'll now update it on its own.
Search for a nearby city.
I'm sure by the time we do all these ones now. Oh yeah, search now. Only that's why you're doing this. All right, so
We don't overhype.
West African time. Sure, I don't overhype. Don't mind them.
Next.
Is your time 21:36, 9:36, Abi? I think
yes.
Yes, correct.
Next. Skip this part. Okay, connect your online account. You need. Let's skip. So what's our full name? Our full name is Item Linux.
Linux.
Yeah. Next. Our server, our password. Item 2021 asterisk. Item 2021 asterisk. No, those are still exclamation mark. Next. using, ready to go, start using CentOS Linux. Thank you very much. Miss Adela, are you still in class? Are you lost at any point? But I
I'm
enjoyed
in
it.
class.
Oh, interesting. Have you changed location or you are using another ISP now?
Sorry?
What has changed? Did you change your location or you're using a different internet provider?
No, I changed my location.
Oh, okay. I'm glad that you're in class.
Thank you.
So you've
I
been
think Madam
enjoying
prefers to learn Linux
Linux,
because
have you?
he wasn't really so much into
Windows.
Windows.
I
Yes.
think she's a banker, so she was using more of Windows now, isn't it? So, do we enjoy the discussion in class today? Does everybody enjoy the discussion?
Yes, now.
Okay, so
It kept us going.
So Mr. Mr. Femi.
Yes, sir.
Is Mr. Progress still around?
I think so.
Yes.
Yes,
what are you doing to bring more ladies into the class now?
you have so many hardware, only one software.
Yes, now so the class you should flow more than this. And once we have ladies, definitely so you have to market better.
Okay, sir. just what I was sharing with a lady I was taking that I'm taking currently on DevOps. So I asked her what informed your decision for this. She's in Manchester. So she said, like, in the whole of our office, all the guys there, all the persons in their IT unit, they are all guys. So you just want to break in, say, yeah, yes, and because so she now showed me a survey across the whole world, just 22% are female. 22%. Wow. But I can assure you that 22%, they are fire. Because me, I know that anywhere you find a lady in a world of men, those ladies are always exceptional. Because the prototype is that this thing is a gender-based thing. Okay. They are forced to do more to prove themselves. It's just like when you come to my location field and you see a lady wearing coverall. The moment I see them, my brother, I just stay humble immediately, my people. Because I know for this one to have risen level, for them to fly her offshore to come and no, just be humble. Don't just rush into them. They are always exceptional. They know their owners. All right, and the reason why exactly, and you know, ladies now, if you mess up around ladies, they have a way of making you look like a fool. You yourself, you will know that you are a fool, you have messed up. You know, in a very subtle manner. And the reason why I'm particular about her is because she's the only person in class. I mean, that courage, I want to help her build it. If she's going to be cooperative as well to also do her labs, all right? She has a whole lot of potential ahead of her. I mean, when you walk into a room of 15 guys and one lady.
Mr. Femi, do you even know that? Do you know that HR take this thing into consideration? They give
that's what I'm saying.
IT
that's what I'm saying right now. Like when you walk in a room of people, prospective employees, you want to interview them, I see just one lady sitting pretty among 15 boys.
You should know.
If you want to bring in 4 persons, automatically she has gotten a space already. If you want to bring in 2 persons, she has gotten a space. So Already she has a step ahead. By the time she now opens her mouth and speak and floor the rest of you, let the rest of you go and call your pastor. See, like, it's like that job. One slot is gone already. I hope they are looking for more than one person. So that's just, and that's why I'm particular as a. I don't know how many other schedules if they have 2, 3 ladies, but in this case we have just one. We're gonna try everything we could to make her a DevOps or a cloud architect. Yeah. So,
Yes, so
done. Okay, we are done. So this is our. Okay, I want to close. This is just normal when you buy a phone, you see you're getting started, blah blah blah. So I can close this tab, right? So look at what CentOS is doing for you. It's helping you to have a GUI, see your home, see your trash can as though you are in a normal Windows GUI. So the reason why we're having this is so that because it is class, because we are learning, all of us, we decide to bring in a GUI into Linux. Okay, but this is where we are going to be doing more of the work. And whatever we do, you can come to our graphics interface to come and see it. So when you come to applications, you come to system tools, and you come to terminal.
I'll start from here.
Exactly, this is where the
There's no wala. It's good things. We don't want wala here.
All right, so this is it. Intel Linux at localhost dash. So the person that wants us to do the basics tomorrow, this is where our basics starts from. We'll first explain this one first. All right, so this is your shell prompt interface. Okay, or your LL, or your print working directory, everything you're gonna see.
ls minus.
See question.
Yeah, my God.
Oh yeah, language.
All right, so this is where we'll pick it from here tomorrow. All right, from iThen Linux, we'll explain this one. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. It's been I should say that I miss you, everybody. I miss everyone. I mean, I miss this interaction. I mean, I really
missed you too.
Uncle Femi.
Yes, sir.
I want to know, there's another class starting August 1st.
Yes.
Are you still going to be part of people that will tutor?
Yes, sir.
Too much money.
How are you going to be doing that?
Too much money.
I'll be on Tuesday, Thursday.
It will not fall on this same day now. You're asking that kind of question.
Too much money.
I know.
I can be your PA.
Why I'm asking is I have a colleague that wants to join the class. So I just want to, so that I'll tell him to join Uncle Femi's
That's
class.
true. Okay, that's true. Okay.
Oh, okay. So I'll be on Tuesday, Thursday. Schedule this time around.
So can I ask you a question?
Please.
How do you manage this now with your work?
This is in my blood already. This is in my blood already. Like, I enjoy teaching and interaction.
And the last thing you didn't mention, you enjoy making money.
I mean, the dollar sign